What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm on site here at Vision Estate. We're starting some work today. I'm a bit early. I like to come on the site a little earlier just to kind of make sure everything's going well, oversee things. The workers are going to be here pretty soon, and they're going to start some work on completing the fence and the gate. But let's talk about today reason why you spend more money building in Liberia and what to do to prevent it. Most of you guys are building in Liberia, as we all know, which is great. That's something that I've always hoped to see more of, and it's happening now. The rate at which people are building in Liberia, it's amazing. It's big. However, people are still spending a lot more money building than they actually should be, right? I made a Facebook post live a couple days ago for those of you who follow me on Facebook. If you do, if you don't, my Facebook is the Facebook is the same, Vision Estate on Facebook, Vision Estates Liberia. I did a live on there, and I talked about why people are spending more money than they actually should, or they have a budget that they think they're spending to build a home. Again, sorry, I'm going to be sweaty. It's pretty hot out here, but I just wanted to do the video outside. People are building. Let's say, for instance, somebody is building a home for $50,000, and they think, you know what, I'm going to save money. I'm only building the home for 50,000. However, though, most people are spending a lot more, and here is how. One is, and I'm directing this to people in the diaspora. Number one is, you guys all know, if you follow this channel, the advice, and if you've been building, you have to be on ground for most of the work, especially at milestones during the process. You have to be on ground. You have to oversee things and make sure things are going exactly how you wanted to go. A few of us have family members here in Liberia that when we come down, we can stay. Most people just stay at hotel, guest houses, and rent an apartment and stuff like that for that duration. Now, what people fail to realize is the total cost of actually building the home, which will include the cost of the home, which is your budget of 50,000, if that includes the materials and labor and everything. But also, what you fail to realize is you have to add your travels, you have to add your plane ticket, you have to add your food that you're going to spend every day being here, right? You have to have other costs of being here. You have to entertain yourself when you're here for that long. You have to do other things. That cost goes into that. And also opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is basically what you're giving up here in order to get this here done. In this case, we should be, let's say you're working, right? You have a job that you have to take off, or you have to put in PTO, or let's say maybe you take unpaid time off. All of these costs, all the money you're losing back in the diaspora to be here, you have to add that there. At the end of the day, you're spending close to twice the amount that you thought is what you're going to spend for the house project, right? So most people, for instance, most jobs in the diaspora, it gives you 2 weeks off when you're working per year. You cannot build a house in a year and be here for just 2 weeks at a time. You have to be here probably a month, 3 times, or one time for 2 months or 3 months at a time. Now, most of us have side hustle. We have other things we're doing, our regular job, or some of us have to pay for extra daycare, right, in order for people to watch the kids and stuff like that. You have to maybe pay more money, pay your bills in advance since you're not going to be there. And then some of us have side hustle. Like I said, maybe you work a regular job, you do Uber, Lyft, or you do some kind of handiwork, or if you do anything else that you do to earn money on the side. All of those things will have to be given up in order to be here. Now you have to calculate that full amount, that total amount that you're not going to be making has to be added to the cost of building your home, because that's the opportunity cost. It's all part of the total cost of building your home, right? So you have to add that there. Now, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because I'm hoping to just see more of a vibrant housing market in Liberia. If you go to countries like Nigeria, Ghana, Tanzania, Kenya, and stuff like that, you can actually just buy a home, right? You can go on your phone, you can see a listing, you can see homes for sale, you can see agents and all of that stuff and buy a home. The route to own a property mostly should be through purchasing a home. Now, I understand most Liberians want to build because number one, that's the only way that we have right now, right? You just build. We barely have a housing market. You probably wouldn't see anything uh, to uh, to buy. Secondly, most of us want to build because we have the feeling, or not the feeling, but the intention of really wanting to customize everything that we do, right? People are saying, I want to build my house because I get to choose this, and build everything exactly. And all my life, I did make that statement that most of the homes in Liberia all look pretty much the same. It may be different angles, like not the design per se. The design language is all the same. The actual structure itself may be, your porch may be on the sides compared to somebody on the front and this and that, but the design language is all the same. The rooms where your rooms is placed in the homes may be switched around, but at the end of the day, there isn't any vast difference in the structures that you see around Liberia. Everybody have the same looking homes, right? Now, there are some exceptions. Some people are getting on the trend of, not the trend, but the realization of wanting to build something a little different, something a little unique. And some people are drawing inspiration from other parts of the world. And I said that in my other video the other day, how we should learn and draw inspiration from other part of the world. But most Liberians, us Liberian, we don't like that. We don't like to we don't like to take suggestions. We always think, yo, don't put your money in my business, my business. You know, that's what I can do, right? And people always tend to associate good-looking homes with higher prices. It's merely the engineering, right? The let's say the drawers, not the architect per se, but the designers, people who did the people who do the structural design, the floor plan, stuff like that in Liberia, really need to push their boundary and see what else is going on in the world, because I feel like they really are not. People are just using the same kind of design and structure. They don't want to reinvest into learning something new. What's going on? What else is going on outside the world? Maybe you spend some money and travel outside the world, right? You see some chefs, let's say some chef in other places, other part of the world, even here in Africa. Some of these chefs will go to different countries that is known for their cuisine, their food, and learn from the source. I feel like the drawers, the architect, the people in Liberia need to do that, right? Even you don't have to go that far. You can go to the neighboring countries, just see what's going on out there, so you can come back and bring that knowledge and be unique in that situation. That's exactly what I think it is. But then things is going to change. We need to change the landscape, to how the dynamics of how things are in Liberia. Let's walk around for a little bit. So we're on site here. Yeah, so we have to do that, right? The flies here. We have to do that, and that way, things are gonna look a little bit different here in Liberia, because if you've been here, if you're building, you will notice almost everybody's stuff looks the same, right? And the architects, the people who are in charge of these things, are really not pushing themselves to create something a little unique and something a little different. It's all the same. So that's what I think. And also, again, like I said, we really just need to have a booming housing market in Liberia where we can have options for people to buy. Because I wouldn't recommend most people build homes in Liberia. I would recommend people buy, because it alleviates all of the headache and the run around and all of that, like being here on site every day. You have to leave your job over there, the opportunity cost. You spend more money building your home than it is if you could buy a home, because that way you don't have to be here months on end. You can come down, take 2 weeks, shop around and buy, right? Saving yourself money you're losing back there, the opportunity cost, saving yourself the money you have to be here multiple times a year for, and you have to pay for your transportation, housing, food, and all of that stuff. At the end of the day, you spend way more, about 50% more money than it takes to build your home in Liberia. That's something I want you guys to realize, and that's something I want for those who are building now. A lot of Liberians who are building now to rent, I recommend you build to sell. It's a great business model. It's a faster turnaround. Your ROI, your return on your investment is a lot quicker. Most people who are building to rent here in Liberia, I'm not gonna lie to you, you're really not gonna get your return in like no less than 15 years, right? You put 15, 20 years. Most people in Liberia are paying $300, $400, $500 for rent in Liberia, right? Imagine you build your house for $60,000 and somebody is spending $300 every month to pay for rental, $400, because your target market is not going to be people in the diaspora. People in the diaspora were all building, right? We're all building and stuff like that. They're not coming down to rent. So most people in the diaspora, when they come down, they've already built their home. They're not coming down to rent. So your target market is people living in Liberia, and those people are really not wanting to pay, or really can't afford to pay more than $500, $400. That's the top of the budget. So if you build a nice home, good looking home, and you're renting it for $400 a month, you're going to get a return back in like 10, 20, 15 years, as compared to if you build a beautiful home and just sell it. You can sell that thing within a few months, right? And then by the next year, you take another year to build a new one. So that's what I really want us to do. And that way, the country is going to develop a lot faster. Beautiful homes are going to be spreading all around the place, as compared to us building and renting and hanging on to one or two rentals. And that's about it. That's your limit of what one person can do, right? Unless you want to be a rental management company and just build rental all over the place and manage all of those. It comes with a lot of headache, so but also, if you really want to make an impact in the economy, in the housing market in Liberia, then I recommend you do that. Also, what we're doing here, right, we're building an estate. You can purchase a home. You just alleviate all of those things, all of those extra headache. Right now, I'm here. I have to be here on site. You have to physically manage people and all of that stuff. If you're building in Liberia, you have to do that. You have to physically be on site to manage people. And a lot of people don't have the luxury of that time. We have our lives back in the diaspora, our families, our kids, some young ones, and all of that stuff. How are you going to leave all those people and be here to manage these things on site, right? And you're losing money back in the diaspora. So consider that. Hit us up also if you're looking to acquire property here. I think this location here is basically almost sold out. We have a phase 2 coming up. We can send you more information on that too as well. But I recommend that's the way to go. You definitely can build if you have the luxury of the time, the expertise, and the know-how, because you really have to know the ins and out of how things works in order to successfully build a home and save money. But there it is, guys. Stay tuned to the channel. We'll keep you more updated with the Vision Estate, and I'll see you guys in the next one.